I'll start,
Please
sir.
start,
I'll
sir.
start.
Please start.
Yeah, very good morning. Yeah, very good morning, children. Welcome to English class. In the previous class, we have discussed about a tale of three villages. A story of three villages. This unit is from Unit 6. This lesson is from Unit 6. The title of the Unit 6 is Biodiversity, and it includes three lessons. One is air. A reading is environment. Reading B is Or Will the Dreamer Wake? And reading C, that is what we have discussed in the previous class. That is a tale of three villages. Tale means story of three villages. This is reading C, and this is really very good and thought-provoking lesson, I can say. What are the three villages that we are going to read? So we have already read about Coco village, that is in Nigeria country, and the second village is Ponnimanturi village, that's in our country, India. And these two villages we have already read, and we have learnt what exactly happened in those two villages. And today we are going to read about Voribawai village. It's in Ukraine, formerly known as USSR. So on first day, we have read about Coco village, Nigeria, and Ponnimanturu village, Nigeria. And what have we learned? What exactly happened in Coco village in Nigeria? Let us try to know something, recapitulate what exactly happened in Nigeria in Coco village. So what happened? So Mr. Sunday Nana was explaining what happened in Coco village, and there were large empty drums placed outside Mr. Nana's house. And it's not only three drums outside Nana's house, but it's a big pyramid of drums. Same drums were placed near a river, near a stream. From the stream, the villagers used to take drinking water, and whatever the water they wanted to use, they used to use river water. But what happened? These drums started smoking out and started bursting, swelling, and suddenly bursted out. Some kind of liquid started flowing from those drums. And the villagers, as they were not so educated, the villagers could not understand what exactly was there in the drums and why the drums were there. And this is what the situation. And 13 people died without knowing the real cause of their death. With different kinds of health issues, 13 people died in the village. And there was a student named Thomas Agonio. He was a university student. He came to the village and he started studying those drums. He did a lot of work and he explored what exactly was there in the drums. And he finally gathered all the villagers and told that the drums contained poisonous, very dangerous chemicals. And he also told them that those drums are from Italy. So nobody knew why those drums came there and who brought them. And they only knew that 5 years ago, some people brought these drums and they kept them there and they gave something to the village head. And that is what they know, but they don't know why they are there. And finally, what happened? The village, when they asked the village head or the government, and they started saying, people, you have to vacate this place, you have to go and find the new place because this place has become dangerous. You can't live here. That is what the villagers face the major problem, and they have to leave their village. But the villagers are not willing to leave the village because they are not having lot of money to buy new land in the new place to build houses. They have some attachment to that particular land. This is what happened in Nigeria, Coco village. And in the second village, Ponnimanturu village in India, what happened here exactly? So this is also same kind of situation here. So in Ponnimanturu village, we have read about chemical leather factories. So there are some factories. It's a green village actually, entirely green thing. There are a lot of fields which are grown there. But suddenly some people came there and started building chemical factories. And when they started building chemical factories, they told that all the villagers would get jobs and all the villagers would become rich. But there are lot of things. There is much more they did not tell. What? No, these chemical factories discharge chemicals, and they would poison the fields and nothing would grow. And this was hidden from the authorities of the factories. That was never told to the villagers, and villagers were told only they would get jobs. That is the only one thing they told the villagers. And what happened finally? The factories were built, lot of chemicals were used in the factories, and lot of poisonous chemicals were uh, thrown out from the factories, and due to which all the water in the village was polluted due to the smoke from the factories, and nothing was grown on the ground. Now finally what happened, the people have to vacate their village, Ponnimanturu village, and this is, they call these factories as monsters. They are deadly dangerous, and most of the people affected by different kinds of lungs and many other diseases, and most people died also. And this is a pathetic situation in Ponnimanturu village also. And now let us read about one more village from one more country. This is Vorabayo village. Vorabayo village. This is from Ukraine. Ukraine is a small country. This is from Ukraine. And Ukraine was formerly known as USSR, Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. USSR means Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. Now, this is what is known as USSR, and it is a part of Russia. So now it is divided, as we have divided from Andhra Pradesh. It is also divided from Russia, and this village was badly affected by something. And let us try to know what is that something, what happened exactly in Urabayo village in Ukraine. Let us read the lesson and try to understand what exactly happened. It happened on April the 26th, 1986. I remember the date because it was my mother's birthday. We heard the explosion early in the morning. We didn't worry because there had been explosions before from Chernobyl. But this one was bigger. Everyone stopped what they were doing and listened. Then we ran out into the garden. We could see a cloud of white smoke coming from the nuclear reactor. Natasha Revanko, and she was the girl who was explaining. Natasha Revanko wiped her hands nervously on her apron. Tears came to the corners of her eyes and slid slowly down her pinched, pale cheeks. So this girl, Natasha Revanko, started wiping her tears, and she is explaining this entire incident, what exactly happened in Warabavo village on 26th April 1986. What happened? Some blast, some kind of explosion happened, it seems. When on this day in early morning, so it happened, it seems. And nobody was bothered about such kind of sounds there because those sounds are very familiar for them, and everybody thought these kinds of sounds are very normal because they have some kind of factories beside it. So that is the reason they started, taking it very easily, and they never took that blast explosion in a serious way. But she started wiping her tears are rolling down while she was explaining. The tears were rolling down, and why she started crying. So this is what happened. There was an explosion in the village, but most of the people are not taking it serious because those explosions are very common in the village. And what happened next? What happened to the people of this Vorobova village after this explosion? It was Saturday. So entire thing happened on Saturday. She went on, still wiping her hands on her apron. It was a lovely warm day, and children played outside all weekend. Even when the dust began to fall, they still played outside. They picked up handfuls of it and threw it at each other, laughing. It was Wednesday. Before, the loudspeaker van came to the village telling us to keep our children indoors and not to touch the radioactive dust. So, this happened on Saturday, early morning. But what happened on Wednesday? Some people came with loudspeaker announcing something. So Saturday happened, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. After 4 5 days, somebody came with loudspeaker and they gave some warning. What warning? So children should be inside. They should not come out of the house because they should not touch the dust. So all the smoke which went up and slowly started coming down onto the ground, and there is a lot of dust. The dust is a normal, is not normal dust. It is a radioactive dust, which is very dangerous for some kind of skin diseases, allergies. So they started announcing that these dust should not be touched by the children, not only children, anybody. And they also told us to wash down our houses and roads with water. They also gave one more instruction: they should wash entire house and the streets, and they should not touch anything. A week later, the children began to vomit. So the side effects already started. So after 1 week, Saturday it happened again. Next Saturday, children started vomiting. Their hair fell down, fell out. They couldn't eat. They grew so thin, and sores appeared all over their little bodies. These are all the effects of this radioactive dust. What effects it has begun to? Children started vomit and they did not eat properly. Their hair started falling down, and they became very thin, and sores, some kind of allergies appeared on their bodies. 2 weeks later, that all three died. So all the three children from their village died. All three on the same day. Same day. On one day, three children died. So this is very, very big, shocking to all the villages. She broke down now and cried quietly, as she had done so many times before. They had buried over there. So not only this is the first time that Natasha was crying, whenever she remembers this incident, she simply cries because she could not bear that incident. She could not see that incident happening in front of her eyes. She pointed to the church graveyard. Lots of villages are there. So not only these three children, there are lots of villagers who died and they were buried in the church graveyard. It's a place where they bury the dead bodies, and adults also. Most of the adults also died. So what happened on Saturday? Saturday, April 26th, 1986, there is a big explosion in the early morning Saturday. She remembered this because it was her mother's birthday. That is what happened on Saturday. So children started vomiting and they started crying. Then people came saying that, announcing something with the loudspeaker, that they should not touch the radioactive dust. Whichever is coming from the dust, they should not touch it. Not only that, they have to wash their houses and their roads. And finally, what happened? People are not aware of this incident. They started vomiting and they started crying. So they started vomiting and their hair fell out, and they did not eat properly and they grew so thin. And not only that, there are a lot of side effects like having a lot of skin allergies. And this is what happened. And she cries, Natasha cries, and says that there are many people who died because of this incident, because of all the side effects, and all of them are in the graveyard, in the burial ground. They are all in the burial ground. That is what she says. And what happened? I touched her gently on the shoulder, uh, leaving her to her bittersweet memories, and walked on through the silence. It was a ghost town. No one lived there anymore. They had either died or been forcibly evacuated. They have either died or been forcibly evacuated. The fields were barren, nothing grew, nothing even would again. There was no bird sung, no rabbit peered at me, no cow endlessly chewed, no horse neighed. So this is the situation. It's like a kind of hell. So she started crying and they started leaving that place. And finally, what happened? The people of that particular village, Varabova village, were No, they were no whoever was alive, they were forcibly evacuated. People doesn't want to go from there, but government evacuated. They vacated that place, and not only that, most people died. Why they evacuated? Because the land has become barren. Nothing will grow. Not even a small grass will grow, and not only now, even in future also, there is no scope of growing anything on the land. There was no birds and no birds. So when there is greenery, you find birds. Now everything is barren, no greenery, no water. Even the water is it's polluted. So nothing will grow there. That's the reason there are no birds and no songs of the birds and no rabbits, no animals, not only rabbits, no animal can live there. No crows, no horses, and nothing is there. And she started crying like anything. No, that is, once upon a time, it was a green village, but after the establishment of this kind of radioactive factories, so an explosion, after this explosion, most people died because of the side effects, and finally they were forced to evacuate the entire village. And Natasha caught me, next paragraph, Natasha caught me up as we boarded the bus marked Moscow. Thank you for coming with me, she said. I wanted to see the graves and the house again before I die. So before I die, Natasha came from Moscow. It's in Russia, and she came here to see her village because she became very old. She is near death. So before she dies, she wanted to see her own village, how the village is and how the village was. And finally, she came and she saw the village, and nothing changed. It was the same village with all the fields were barren, land was barren, and nothing was growing there. Not even the grass was growing, not even a crow, nothing was there, and everything seems to be like a death to Natasha. Not only Natasha, to the author also. Now, this is what happened in Vorobavo village in Ukraine. It is in USSR. So if you see what exactly happened, it is because of the radioactive dust. Most people died, and most of the villagers died, and they lost their life. And not only that, no, government should have informed before, after, immediately after the explosion, but government did not inform them. That's the reason all the small children started playing with the dust, and it affected more. No, and government should have warned them, and because of that, since the government did not warn them, there is a lot of damage, and finally they had to vacate the entire village without a second thought. Now this is really very pathetic, since incident that happened exactly in Warabavo village. So children, we have read about Coco village, which was in Nigerian country. Second village, Ponnimanturu village, which is in India, and third village, Orabavo village, which is in Ukraine country. So we have read about three villages from three different countries, but the problem is same and the situation is same. The damage that was done to the human life or animal life is the same. What is it? It's only because of the pollution. And even you take Coco village, Punnimanturu village, or Rabawai village, it's all the we say they are the development activities, but finally it is affecting the environment. It is affecting our life. It is affecting the biodiversity, ecological balance. Now that is very, we are not following the biodiversity. And that is a unit theme. And this pollution, because of this pollution, there are many damages, there are many problems that the entire world, not only one country, not only these three villages, these are only the examples that we have read. But if we do not take precautions, if we do not follow certain things, guidelines, obviously whatever happened to those three villages would surely happen to all the human beings, all the villages, and of course, towns and cities also. And what are the worst effects of pollution? So, if you cannot stop pollution, and one day pollution will stop us, because of pollution we are going to have global warming, and we are going to have climate changes. We are already experiencing such kind of things. We are not getting rains when it is time to get rains, and that is we are experiencing. And we would get acid rains, no rains or heavy rains, both are dangerous. So again, smoke effect and deterioration of fields, and nothing will grow. Even if it grows also, you cannot get good yielding from the fields. Extinction of animal species. Already, according to some human uh, governments, there are many species which are already extinct. And if we continue this same thing, one day human also will extinct from this planet. And respiratory health problems, again, of course, we will get so many respiratory problems. Deterioration in building material. Yes, there are many materials that build our life. They will be deteriorated, poisoned, spoiled. And chemical sensitivity, and easily our bodily organs will be affected by chemical reactions that are happening in the pollution, that are happening around us. And finally, skin damages. So skin damages means some kind of allergies due to this kind of pollution. These are only 10 I quoted, but there are hundreds and thousands of effects, worst effects of pollution. And if we do not stop, what happens? Ultimately, the death. So the death of who? Death of everything, from grass to animals. And ultimately, one day we also should leave if we don't stop this pollution on this planet. So pre-villages experience, the governments also started taking some kind of measures in all the countries. And we have many kind of agencies which are there to reduce the pollution, to bring awareness among the people. Not only awareness, it is the responsibility of you, me, and all of us to reduce the pollution. For example, if a school is there, it is our responsibility to keep dust free. We should not throw dust papers wherever you wanted to throw. We have to throw them in the dustbins only. We have to be very neat, taking bath every day and washing clothes every day. These are all the basic things. If you follow here in the school, then you would follow this in your life also. Then you would follow this in your later life, wherever you go in the future. And just children, just think about it. And you may have debate with your friends, or you may discuss with your teachers or parents or elders or the government officers or village secretary, whomever you meet. You just discuss with this is a debatable topic. And what is this? Do we really need factories? Yes or no? And you can give your own answers. If you really want to have factories, what kind of factories? How we can build factories without a pollution? And you may ask the questions also, without factories, where is the development? And these questions you can ask, and you can think over it, and you can come up with many kind of ideas. And you can share the ideas here on YouTube or any platform wherever you go. And one day your idea will become successful. And if it really helps you to reduce the pollution, and if it really helps us to balance the biological diversity on this planet, and you would be successful in your life. And if you are here, you are responsible. So we are all, you, me, everybody, are responsible for the life of even a grass or a big element, or a big elephant, or your life or human life. So it is our responsibility to safeguard the entire surroundings wherever we live. And ultimately, if we are all enlightened, one day the entire country, or all the countries, or even the entire world, will be enlightened by this by the side effects of pollution, and probably we would stop polluting our environments. So that is what there in the first lesson, biodiversity. We have read about Wangari Maatai. She started from a small village in a small country, but she is very famous all over the world. Take inspiration from Wangari Maatai and start doing some activity from your village. Either you can plant a small plant on your birthday, or you can do something else which is nature friendly, and we can become a change makers, or we can become a change drivers, whatever it is. And finally, and you may think nobody is taking care of me, or nobody is recognizing me, but one day you will be recognized not only by your village people, but by the entire world. That is what happened with Wangari Maatai also. So we have to take inspiration from Wangari Maatai. Not only Wangari Maatai, we have to take inspiration from the poem also. Or will a dreamer wake? We people are dreaming that something would develop or something will happen. Nothing will happen if we don't stop polluting, and everything damaged, and everything will be damaged if we really don't understand the worst effects of pollution. So children, I really appreciate those who are already protecting the environment, not only protecting, safeguarding the environment by following the norms which were kept by the governments or the school principals or teachers, headmasters, and do follow them. And please be a green warrior in your school, in your colony, in your country, or in your village. Thank you very much, and we will try to read the lesson again and try to understand the difficult words, and by underlining, by referring to a dictionary, and try to write the difficult meanings of the difficult words, and try to write the question and answers which are there in your textbook, and try to read the lesson again and try to understand the right essence of the entire lesson or the entire unit which is given in unit 6. So it is biodiversity. So we are equal, everybody from grass to human being, everybody on this planet have equal rights and equal opportunity. All the very best, children, and take your responsibility and enjoy your right. Thank you.